Why was Meghan Markle at the Invictus Games? Was it to actually promote the veterans and all that they have achieved? Or was it to show off her abysmal sense of fashion and her nouveau riche lifestyle? Yes, oh yes, we have at least roughly $50,000 worth of clothing worn over the span of a couple of days, according to my very humble records. Many of it was new, some of it was older. It included a $3,800 coat. Yes, that's right, $4,000 for a coat. And she changed out her coats for every single engagement. Guys, it was absolutely insane. Most of it wasn't all that great, lacked a sense of flair and fashion, and mostly was just all and out flat. There were, let's say, a couple of standout pieces, but most of it gets a big thumbs down from me. So today we are going to go over the Meghan Markle fashion show slash in little parentheses, the Invictus Games, because Meghan Markle did one thing throughout the whole weekend. She never wore a smidge of Invictus gear. Never wore a smidge of it. Not a beanie, not a coat, nothing. But she was sure willing to wear her $3,000 Hermes very ugly puffer coat. So we shall get into it. I'm going to rank her looks from best to worst, guys. Going to give you a bit of the breakdown from what I could find of the prices of these various items. I got it from numerous sources. So come on a journey with me to a very cold place as we check out Meghan Markle's fashion. But if you guys haven't been to Royal Fashion News before, hello, my name is Brittany, and I am a person who has a passion for royal fashion. So let's go ahead and get into the list. And so number one here, which I figured I would have to say is my favorite look personally, because I actually really liked the coat and I don't say I really like the coat. I like the brand that the coat is. The coat is nothing special. It's an average everyday puffer coat. Nothing really unique or interesting about it. I did like the design of some of the other coats that they had. And this was her when they first went up to Whistler. So she is wearing a Macaj Kalina maxi coat, Montclair padded gloves, Sorrel Joan Arctic boots, Hat Attack classic cashmere slouch hat, I think. Now, again, I want to call out here, guys. She could have worn an Invictus beanie. I believe the man right behind her in this particular picture is wearing an Invictus Games beanie, but could she wear one? No, she's too special and important for that. The other thing I want to point out here, which you'll notice quite a bit, is that she opens her jackets a lot when it doesn't make total sense. And I think Meghan Markle does this because even though you can't really see the outfit underneath, she sort of wants to show it off. Because when you look at the encompassing aspects of the Invictus Games, you will notice it's a giant fashion show for her. She doesn't lift the veterans. She doesn't tell their stories. It's all about her and her fashion. She rarely actually highlights any of the veterans. Even in her social media posts, she really didn't highlight any of the veterans. This games, at least for this time, I think are a total waste, to be quite honest. So this jacket, though, I do like it. I like the black accents with the white. I think it adds a little bit more of an extra dimension here. And again, once I looked at the actual website, because I hadn't heard of it before, I actually tended to like the looks of the brand quite a bit. So I will say that, and I will let you guys know the most expensive item on each list, and that would be the coat, which costs $1,250. Again, close up second here is a Montclair padded gloves, which apparently she gave to somebody after they said their hands were cold. Now, while that is very kind, they're also $850. So, like, why did you give away gloves worth so much? Like, it's very kind, but almost seems a bit too much. You got to wonder if she was giving them to the girl and like having her assistant hand her a card going, send these back here, please. But it could also be a nouveau riche thing. She has more than enough money to buy 12 $815 pair of gloves. So she's more than willing to give them away because she believes she has endless more money to spend. So let's get on to the next one here. And I might have ranked this one higher, but the reason I didn't is because we could not see the dress underneath, which is allegedly a Brandon Maxwell dress. So this is what she wore to the opening ceremonies. She has a Centilers baby alpaca wrap coat, which she has worn before, which probably cost $2,290, still available. The Maxwell dress probably cost $2,000 to $3,000. I gave it a low estimate of $2,000 based on the dresses that they currently have on their websites, and her pumps were Aquazzura. So I like this outfit, but I also don't like this outfit. I don't like this outfit because she tended to unbutton the coat too, and so it looked kind of sloppy. And I have a big question here. Why is she wearing the coat? Nobody else is wearing the coat. Why is she wearing one? Because in an event like this, in a stadium like this, would it not be, like, pretty warm in there? I believe it's not exposed to the outdoors, and nobody else around her is wearing a coat. And if you're wearing a coat, it kinda symbolizes that you are anxious to leave. So I think it would've made a lot more sense for her to take the coat off. I think it's sort of ridiculous that she had the coat on. If she's worried about being cold, you can plan your outfits around it. But the coat overall, I think is really nice. I do like it. It's better when it's buttoned up and wrapped and cinched tight. That's how coats generally look their best. Once it's undone, it looks a little bit sloppier. You guys will notice if you watch my channel for a while, I comment on coats, like wrap coats, certain type of coats can tend to look sloppy if they're not done up properly. So you almost have to be more conscientious of that. This coat does have a good structure, but she really needed to keep it buttoned up together. So it's, I mean, it's okay. It's not the best. So next, I put on the list the ALC willow dress that she wore to the, like, a dinner that was right before the games. It is actually still fully available online, final sale. It is currently $475 still available from ALC. So the Meghan effect, not so existent here in this particular dress. Now, this one is not terrible. It's hard to see it exactly. Looking at it on the website, I mean, I'm not like super enthused about it. It's not super exciting, not super interesting, nothing really to write home about, I will say. Kind of plain and boring. It's just not something that I would personally gravitate towards. It's not terrible. Of course, many have commented that she likes to wear sleeveless things for, again, no inexplicable reason. So it's not bad. And so I did put it here on the list. And I also do have to shout out that it was lovely to see Meghan tell all the competitors how much they should love and adore her husband because he works so hard on the games and they all need to appreciate that of him. So, not so much about the veterans. All right, guys, next we are moving on to her attempt to look motherly with the kids. Didn't really go too well. So, we have a Julie Eva heritage coat in camel hair. That is the one that costs, yes, a grand total of $3,800, $4,000 for a wrap coat. Yeah. It is in camel hair. Guys, which I just realized also looks horrendous from the back. We're walking in there. This is her own video, by the way. This jacket looks terrible. It looks terrible. Doan Emmeline sweater. She has a Ralph Lauren Celia pumps and a Valencia Key Joy bracelet. She wore this quite a bit as if to signify what she has for this year, that she's going to experience joy. Joy. So she needs to, wear the bracelet so she reminds herself. This is not a terrible look, although I will have to say, bit of a copycat, because Catherine wore a very similar look that I would argue was better. It was better. I think Catherine pulled that look off amazingly well. It was from Zane, and I believe about half the price. And the skirt is La Linge, Toujours skirt. And so they're both in olive. They seem to sort of work together. So not terrible, but not particularly exciting either. Probably cost a couple $100s. And so the grand total of this look is getting up there with the coat. Really, the shoes are $750. So the next look I'm going to put on the list here, guys, is this Givenchy coat that she previously wore in Australia. She paired it with Valentino cashmere sweater and a Valentino rock stud ankle boot, although some have said it's Stuart Weitzman. So we have a bit of a debate here going on over which shoes. There's nothing really all that exciting about this look, to be quite honest, except for the price. The price. That sweater that she's wearing costs $1,900, $2,000 for a sweater. Yes. So lots and lots of money. All right. Next, we are moving on to an event that was closed to the public. I do have to say, I find it very strange that they did close certain events to the public. And it's one of those things where they're trying to exert control in particular ways. And I don't like it because they want the media to cover them and yet they'll hide from the media at the same time. So she's wearing an Annie Bing carry trousers in gray. She has her Soya Enkyo Adelaida ash gray coat, her Cartier Justin Clou necklace, and the Valencia bracelet again. So this look, I mean, it's not bad. It's not terribly exciting. What I thought was kind of weird is I really don't think the shirt and the pants match at all. She doesn't even totally look like a sweater. It looks like a shirt. And so I just don't think it works. I just don't think it works. And the Justin Clone necklace, again, I feel like you got to be careful here because the Invictus Games is probably covering their lodging, their transportation. She took a private jet home. Did Invictus cover that? They should have flown home together, or she should have flown back commercial. Can you imagine Invictus covering not just 2 flights, so there and back, but 4 flights or 3 flights there and back for Harry and going back to California for Meghan? I think that's a colossal waste of money. They don't add that much to the games. In reality, in terms of actually promoting them to a general audience, nobody is watching this except for Harry and Meghan fans and those who follow royals. Nobody else is watching the Invictus Games. It's been completely lost in the process. So I give both of them a big thumbs down for turning this into the Harry and Meghan show. It's disgusting, and I'm hoping it comes to an end at some point. All right, next we are moving on here to, I would just call it this general blah. I would call this general blah. So we have a couple different outfits here. We got something where we can see this J. Crew jacket and her riding boots here. She's in all black ensemble, so black jeans, a black sweater. Then she also here is at the games in a navy sweater and flared bootcut pants from Veronica Beard. I just think I just put these kind of in the blah realm because they're all boring. They're all boring. There's nothing really there that's all of that interest. Now, I will say obviously it's cold, you have to dress for the cold weather. It's practical, I get that. But I feel like what makes such a difference for Catherine is that she puts intention into every single outfit. You can tell every single aspect of that outfit has been carefully thought through. Meghan doesn't do that. She looks sloppy, she looks hackshawed. And although she's there to promote the Invictus Games, and although you could argue, hey, she has a really casual ensemble on, do you know what she doesn't have on? Invictus gear. The lowest hanging fruit of promotion for an event is branded gear. It's the lowest hanging fruit. Wear branded gear, you get in a picture that goes around the world, and they're reminded of why you're there. The only reason we know we're there is because we are told that. If, let's say, a picture pops up years from now, why does she have a Moncler label fully visible, which is a luxury winter brand, when she could have Invictus? So you can see her face promoting Invictus, but she doesn't do it. I find it particularly pathetic. They're paying you basically by lodging you and probably flying you to promote this, and you don't promote it. Hanging out all over your husband and making out with him is not promoting the Invictus Games. That's not it. That's not it. We have at least 3 confirmed kisses during the event, which is utterly unprofessional because they're working. They're not on a date, they're working, but they don't understand the difference between working and professional. So again, this is just the all in all blah phase of the trip. So next we get into this quite ugly rag and bone sweater, which I feel like is a sack on her. And I feel like this would have been much better had maybe she worn a belt to it. So she is wearing a Ralph and Bone Danica vest, Altazura Hypno trousers. She has Ralph Lauren Celia pumps in brown for some reason. So you're in an all-white ensemble and you wear brown shoes. She's done this a couple of times. I think it's particularly dumb. Doesn't work. And then she has her bracelet again. And she's wearing underneath the sweater, because apparently it's too big, her coat fine cashmere sweater in ivory. I have to give this a big thumb down. It's a sack. It's really unflattering from what I can tell. She's not good at fashion. And Meghan's problem is that she is very flat in terms of she is a square, a rectangle, whatever you want to call it. She's very square. So what you don't want to do is wear a sack, because it makes you look more square. I don't even think anybody really looks good in a sack. I haven't seen that too many. I don't think she particularly looks good in a sack. I don't know why she's wearing white and ivory. She seems to think that's a great color on her. It's really all blah. So yeah, got to give this one a thumbs down for sure. And I have to mention, most expensive part of this outfit is the trousers, which cost $1,000. Yep. So next on the list is actually a rewear of this sweater. So it's on the last day of the event. And I just thought for this one, she looked particularly sloppy. It like looks really sloppy, this sweater, like super duper sloppy, this whole look. And again, she's unzipping her jacket, not because she's warm, most likely. It's mostly so she can show off her look because she wants you to buy it. Ironically enough, the Danica sweater has already been sold out. The Cohen sweater is still available. Actually, so is the ALC dress. Final sale, all sizes still available. So the Meghan Markle effect is minimal. So I just think this is just particularly sloppy. And I get it, she was going tubing, but you're there to promote the games, not to go tubing. Just got to say. And the Montclair label fully and completely visible. So won't promote the games, but will promote Montclair. And yeah, so she finally has gone home. Less of a distraction for Harry, so hopefully they're not making kissy face quite so much. And now we get to the final two. And my first one is talking about this very ugly blazer from Doan. It's a Duccio jacket in Castle Gray. I'm sorry, but this thing is ugly. It's ugly. It's unfitted. And it might be particularly her because she's so skinny, but it just, especially in this picture, it just looks like she's wearing her husband's blazer and it's too big and it's slouching all over her. Her legs look unbelievably skinny in this. And her limbs are naturally very thin. So I don't necessarily criticize her for that. But I just think this blazer is ugly. Now, maybe on a different woman styled better, it might shine, but it's also almost $700 and it doesn't do anything for the look. It doesn't do anything. It adds nothing. You're matching it's a gray and brown blazer that you're matching with navy. It's just not a great look. I don't know, maybe if the blazer was styled better, I would like it better, but I just feel like she stole the blazer from her dad's closet or her husband's closet and is wearing it around not realizing it makes her look like a child. It's just not a particularly great blazer by any means. So, I do have to give this one a thumbs down. And you'll notice that she previously wore all the pieces underneath earlier sans the jacket. So she has to wear a new blazer for one event, change into another jacket for another event, but still wearing the same things underneath. Again, I sort of find it a waste. She spent the whole time basically trying to wear a new jacket to every single event. And it's cold. Yes, I understand, but you could have reworn a jacket. I don't know why Meghan didn't rewear her white Calvin Klein jacket or light colored Calvin Klein jacket from last year. It was perfectly fine, perfectly serviceable. So I don't know why she had to buy a new $1,200 one, which she already had one in her closet. So let's move on to our final look and the one that I give a big thumbs down to, because I find this one to be particularly emblematic of the problem of Meghan Markle. And that is this look, which is the same as the previous blazer look, but added an ugly, hideous $3,000 Hermes puffer coat. I saw this last year. I thought it was hideous then. I think it's hideous now. And you might not see the hideousness right away, but it's actually reversible with a very ugly pattern on the inside. That's an ugly pattern. It's ugly. And why do I think I harp on this jacket so much? Because number one, she could wear a branded Invictus skier jacket that probably cost at the most $200. She could be wearing that. But instead, Meghan Markle showed us where her loyalties truly lie, and it's to luxury. She's wearing a luxury $3,000 jacket when she could easily wear instead a $200 jacket. So why is this jacket particularly offensive, in my personal opinion? Because what it screams to me as somebody who is trying to be as nouveau riche as humanly possible, that they'll waste money on something somebody else with money, old money, would not waste money on, which is a $3,000 jacket by Hermes, a company not known for puffer jackets. If you spend $3,000 on Canada Goose, I would still think that's a bit ridiculous, but I would understand because their company is like focused on making winter gear. That is what they're best at. There's a couple of companies like it. The Mackler coat that she wore earlier, a company specifically focused on creating winter coats. The Hermes piece is not that. In fact, it's a coat that signifies something different altogether. which is look how much money I have that I can waste $3,000 on an ugly Hermes coat. I mean, I imagine she's trying to work up to, if she hasn't received it already, working up to a Birkin bag or something to that effect. Because how it works at Hermes, if you don't know, is that you have to buy other things and build up a sales history before you can even get on a Birkin list. You can't go into the store and get a Birkin. You have to actually get on a list. And sometimes you're offered some, let's say, not so savory things on the Birkin side before you get up to, let's say, black or brown or something to that effect. What I see Meghan here is she wants something like that. So she'll buy something that's ugly, impractical, and completely a waste of money because of the company that made it, because that's not their specialty, in order to signify how much wealth she has. It's kind of like her pretentious diamond pinky ring. It's impractical. It's a completely impractical ring because it always constantly, you'll see it in pictures, it actually slides underneath her finger constantly because it's too heavy to be on that finger. But she keeps it mostly because of the status that she thinks it gives her. And I think the flash of it. I feel like the Hermes thing is the same way. It's unnecessary. It's impractical. It's a waste of money. And it's something this company is not known for. Sandals, sure. Leather goods, sure. So that includes gloves, belts, what have you. But instead, she needed to buy the jacket, and a jacket with an ugly reversible pattern. That just screams to me somebody willing to spend any money as long as it makes her look rich. She's not really thinking about, you could say, the consequences or the looks or anything like that. She wants something luxurious. She wants luxury. And she's willing to throw the Invictus games on the altar of her luxury agenda. That is my personal opinion about Meghan Markle here. Yes, royals wear luxury. Yes, royals wear things that are very expensive. But I feel like Meghan does not put intention into her outfits the way Catherine, Maxima, Mary, Madeline do. She wears things that are simply luxury for the sake of luxury and no other reason. And so I find the Hermes jacket particularly egregious, especially when she could just simply wear an Invictus branded gear. Other people are wearing the coats. Her husband is wearing the coat. Why can't she, if she is there to promote the games and not herself, wear the coat? Wear the coat, wear the beanies. Because at this point, what she's endorsing is Hermes, Montclair, Centelar, you know, Valentino, whatever. She's not representing the Invictus Games. She's representing major fashion houses because she wants them to dress her. She wants more and more luxury. This is a woman who held a sayonara Zara party because she hated anything that didn't have that uber rich label on it. But sometimes when you're so desperate for the luxury, you spend your money on sort of, you could call it ugly things. She's not looking for the good stuff. She's willing to buy anything if it gives her a bit of that cachet. And I just find the Hermes down jacket the most ridiculous thing because the reversible pattern is ugly. Why would you buy a reversible pattern jacket with an ugly pattern inside? I mean, the outside is not like terrible, but it's not even a particularly interesting looking puffer coat. There's nothing particularly nice about the design. It's an average puffer coat. There's nothing special about it. There's literally nothing unique about it. It's average, it's banal. And yet it costs $3,000+ when I could actually probably get a better looking puffer coat for $100 at TJ Maxx. And that is just a waste of money. And that's what Meghan is to these games, I think, an absolute waste of money because she doesn't do anything for them. You even looked through some of the pictures and Getty Images initially. They were all of Harry and Meghan. Virtually none of the athletes, none of the coverage of these athletes is getting through. And that I lay at the feet of Harry and Meghan because it's more important for them to promote themselves than anybody else. So guys, let me know what you think of this fashion review. Let me know what you think your choice for best to pick for Meghan is, worst pick, or if you think they're all worst picks, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you very soon. Bye.